Most cat owners spend a lot of time wondering whether their cat feels loved. Whether the food, the attention, the toys, the time spent, whether any of it registers. Whether the relationship goes both ways. The answer is yes. For most cats who have been given consistent, respectful care, they already know. The question most owners are really asking is, how would I even tell? Because here's the problem. The way your cat shows that they feel safe, loved and secure is not loud. It's not demonstrative. It doesn't look like a dog greeting you at the door. It's quiet, behavioral. Often things that look like nothing that most owners walk past every day without recognizing. These are the 7 signs that your cat not only knows you love them, but has internalized it in the deepest way their species can. Most people will recognize several of them. Some will surprise you. And the last one, especially, is something almost no one thinks to look for. 1. They sleep in the open near you, not hidden. A cat who feels unsafe or uncertain does not sleep in exposed positions. They sleep in enclosed spaces, inside boxes, under beds, deep in closets, in corners that offer walls on multiple sides. The body pressed against barriers, the sightlines toward the room, the position optimized for fastest escape. A cat who is fully comfortable in their environment and who has internalized that you are part of what makes it safe, sleeps differently. They stretch out. They roll onto their sides or their backs. They sleep in the middle of the couch, in the center of a room, on top of a surface that leaves them visible and unprotected. They sleep near you without monitoring the exits. This is the most fundamental behavioral expression of felt safety. An unsafe cat doesn't leave themselves exposed. When your cat sprawls next to you in a relaxed, open position, not tucked, not braced, not facing the door, they're telling you that the presence of you in their environment has made them feel secure enough to let every guard down. This isn't a small thing. For an animal built around survival vigilance, choosing to sleep without watching is a profound statement about the safety of where and who they are with. 2. They bring you slow blinks without being prompted. You already know what the slow blink is, but there's a version of it most owners never notice because they're not looking for it. The slow blink you initiate, where you make eye contact and deliberately slow blink at your cat, and they return it, is meaningful. But the slow blink your cat initiates toward you, unprompted, when you're not looking at them, is more. It happens in ordinary moments. Your cat is across the room. You glance over, and they're looking at you with a gaze that is soft, unfocused, slightly heavy-lidded. And as you watch, they blink slowly and let their eyes stay closed for a moment before opening them again. Not because you started it, because they felt like doing it. This is your cat communicating trust at a moment when there was no social pressure to communicate anything. They weren't responding to you. They were simply in a state of comfort and security in your presence that produced this expression spontaneously. Watch for it. Once you know to look, you'll see it in moments you would have otherwise missed entirely. 3. They choose your lap when other options exist. This one requires the right conditions to read accurately. A cat who jumps into your lap because you're the only warm, elevated surface available is making a practical choice. A cat who walks past the couch, past the sunny window, past their warm bed, past every other option in the room, and then jumps into your lap is making a preference choice. The preference is specific to you, not to laps in general. You've probably noticed that your cat doesn't do this with just anyone who sits down. Not to warmth in general. There are warmer surfaces available. The choice is your lap in your presence when you're the one sitting there. Cats who do this consistently have registered your body as a preferred resting destination. Not because it has the best thermal properties or the best view, because it has you, your scent, your warmth, your specific body rhythm, and all of that has become associated with something their nervous system categorizes as home. That classification doesn't happen with people your cat doesn't feel something for. The lap choice is a relationship indicator every time it's freely made. 4. They greet you at the door, not because they're hungry. Cats who meet their owners at the door do so for reasons that can be separated if you pay attention to the context and the behavior. A cat who greets you at the door and immediately leads you to the food bowl, vocalizes urgently, and redirects you toward the kitchen within 30 seconds is greeting you because they're hungry. The greeting is instrumentally motivated. A cat who meets you at the door engages with you. Tail up, slow blink, maybe a brief head bunt against your leg, and then simply accompanies you into the room without redirecting you toward anything, is greeting you because you arrived. This distinction is clear once you look for it. The second cat isn't managing the interaction toward a goal. They're expressing something, the arrival of a specific person who they were tracking, whose absence has ended, whose presence changes the state of the environment in a way that registers as positive. They came to the door for you, not for what you do, for you. Subscribe here because the next sign is the one that most people have been dismissing as their cat being weird. 5. They follow you from room to room without making demands. There's following that precedes asking for something, and there's following that is simply following. When your cat walks into whatever room you've moved to, settles within your general vicinity, and does nothing in particular, doesn't solicit food, doesn't initiate play, doesn't meow, they're engaging in what behaviorists call parallel presence. They're choosing to be in the same space as you without an agenda. This is a form of intimacy that humans rarely recognize as such because we're accustomed to interaction that involves explicit exchange. Someone coming to be near you without wanting anything from you is, to human social experience, unusual enough to feel notable. For cats, it's one of the primary ways they express being bonded. Wild cats who are closely affiliated spend time in proximity doing nothing together. They groom themselves, they sleep, they watch the environment. They are simply present in the same space. The togetherness is the thing, not the activity. When your cat follows you to the kitchen while you make coffee and just sits there watching, or comes into the bathroom and sits on the mat while you get ready, or moves to the room you're working in and finds a spot, they're doing the cat equivalent of wanting to be with you, not to get something from you, to be with you. That's not a small thing for a species built around independence. It means something. 6. They show you their belly and stay relaxed after. We've discussed the belly display at length in its own context. But here's the specific version that signals the felt love sign. It's not just the display itself, it's what happens after. A cat who shows their belly in a moment of comfort and whose belly display is met with calm acknowledgement, not reaching, not hovering, not immediately touching, will often stay in that position longer and may deepen it. They may close their eyes. They may begin purring without any new stimulus. They may roll slightly further. They're remaining in maximum vulnerability because they are not anticipating violation. They've shown you something sensitive. You've received it without exploitation, and their body has registered that this person, you, can be trusted with this. This deepening of the belly display after a calm response is one of the clearest behavioral confirmations that your cat has internalized safety with you. They're not just comfortable. They've learned through repeated experience that you can be trusted with their most exposed state. That's a knowledge that was built, and once built, it persists. 7. They slow blink at your face while you sleep. This is the last one, and it's the one almost no one knows about. Researchers using night vision cameras to study cat behavior during owner sleep have documented a pattern that appears consistently in cats who are strongly bonded with their owners. The cat approaches the sleeping owner. They sit for a moment and they perform a slow blink, eyes closing slowly, opening slowly, the full trust communication gesture directed at the sleeping owner's face. No one is watching. The owner is unconscious. There is no social response forthcoming, no reinforcement, no reciprocation. The cat is not doing this to communicate with anyone. They're doing it because, in the silence and darkness of the night, in the space where there are no audiences and no performances, they're in the presence of the person who is home to them, and their body expresses what it feels. That's the clearest possible thing, not a behavior performed for a response, not a signal sent hoping to receive something, just an expression, private and unwitnessed, of what your presence has come to mean to them. If your cat does this, and you will never see it unless you have a camera, It is happening in complete sincerity. It is the sign that no amount of love language confusion can complicate, because there is no audience to perform for. It is the truest thing your cat will ever tell you, and they tell it to your sleeping face in the dark without you ever knowing. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering what your cat has been saying all along.